This is pretty hard for me to really grasp on. And I'm sure it's hard for a lot of you to grasp on, but we lost another legend. For those who don't know, yesterday, Richard Williams, the legendary master animator, passed away. Of what? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it was just from old age and all that. He was 86. But the point is, we recently lost an iconic animator. And you know, like, he's probably mostly well known in the animation circle, but he was responsible, like, arguably the most famous thing he was ever a part of was directing the animation for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This masterpiece, this wonderful work of art, my favorite movie, was directed by Robert Zemeckis, but the animation was done by Richard Williams. It's awful. It's terrible, like, to just think of the fact that it could happen so soon. And I can imagine it would happen eventually, because, like, I think he did start a project that he entitled If I Live to Finish This, which ended up becoming Prologue, which is a great animated short, by the way. I highly recommend you check it out after watching this. But I guess even he knew it would happen someday, but I didn't think it would happen so soon. The amount of appreciation I have for this person is, well, about as much as any animation enthusiast. But the point is, if you're a die-hard animation fan, be it an aspiring animator or like a historian or just anything, whatever, then chances are you have this book, The Animator Survival Kit, by Richard Williams. And this is the expanded edition, keep in mind. But like this book, if you want to learn not just the principles of animation, but also just the nuts and bolts and just all of that jazz, you own this book. You should. If you don't already, you should own this book right now. It's unbelievable. Like, this is just a fraction, not even a fraction, just like a very tiny percentage of what it offers. It's got you your walk cycles. It's got all this stuff, like the in-betweens and all that. It's amazing. Like, I'm just showing you an example. Like, I really hope many of you own this book. If anyone watching this video loves animation that much, please do yourself a favor and get this book. You will not be disappointed. But in addition, as this isn't just like a promotion for like Richard Williams and stuff, as much as I love it to be, but part of why I love Richard Williams so much is because when I was younger, I made my own little animations as well, like Richard Williams. When he was a teenager, he made his own little animations. He loved the art form that much, and if you've seen his stuff, even when he was a teenager, like, it's beyond impressive. I don't know how he did it, but like the point is, when I was younger as well, I made my own little animations, as I stated, but the reason I did them was not just because of Richard Williams, but because of his unfinished masterpiece, The Thief and the Cobbler. For those who don't know, Richard Williams tried making his own independent animated feature, The Thief and the Cobbler, from 1964 all the way up to around 1992. And the main reason it took so long to make is because, well, being independently funded, it would just go in and out of production, you know, money issues and all that jazz. He did get a chance to complete it when Who Framed Roger Rabbit was released, because, you know, he made that film to get money for his project. He made so many projects just to get the funding, from commercials to his adaptation of A Christmas Carol to Raggedy and Andy Musical Adventure to Ziggy's Gift, all that jazz. And all of that stuff was made just so he could finish his masterpiece. Sadly, it got taken away from him and completely ruined, but very special thanks to Garrett Gilchrist. I hope you're watching this, Garrett. Special thanks to Garrett, he made The Thief and the Cobbler, the recobbled cut, which is a very, very close recreation to what Richard Williams wanted his feature to look like. And it's great. Like, oh, okay, obviously, you know, it's a recreation and re-edit of an unfinished feature. Well, a feature that got finished, but not finished the way that the original artist wanted. And if you haven't seen it right now, please check it out. You'll find it on the YouTube channel, The Thief Archive. But when I was younger, like about a few years ago at least, back when I was in high school, I loved the Cobbler cut. I would watch it relentlessly, just examining it, just like analyzing like all the stuff, and just looking at all the stuff Williams wanted that just got removed. Because to quote Mr. Gilchrist himself, no movie got ruined like this movie got ruined. And I made my own little animations inspired by that. And you know, many of those animations never got finished, like Richard Williams' stuff. But I realized very soon that very like Richard Williams, those projects never got finished because I just did not have any self-confidence, and I just never had the time to complete them. I mean, granted, Williams' projects got unfinished and all that for like different reasons, but part of that was due to his, how should I say, lack of self-confidence. And here's the thing, it's really easy to paint Richard Williams as a madman with all these weird ideas. Oh, he can never finish his projects on time, and it's true. His project on A Christmas Carol, the only reason that got finished was because Chuck Jones came in to save it. Raggedy Ann and Andy went over schedule and all that, and even Who Framed Roger Rabbit was close to missing its deadline, and it probably would have if it wasn't for Dale Bayer and his Los Angeles team finishing the film up with barely any time left. And in addition, it's always common to like say, oh, well, he was a total lunatic, he was a control freak, and yeah. But a lot of artists are. I don't see what makes him any different. Yeah, he could be a pain to work with, I imagine. I never worked with him, but the point is, when you're that passionate about an art form, you tend to be like that. And of course, like, you could see him going, like, absolutely mad because of just how passionate he was. But let's be honest, if he wasn't that passionate, I don't think his work would have showed. I mean, for goodness sake, I praise this movie to the nth degree. It's one of the very few times where you actually believe cartoon characters are interacting with real people. Is that not amazing or what? I mean, obviously, all the accurate attention to detail was partly thanks to Robert Zemeckis. But Richard Williams, oh man, he elevated it. Yeah, but like as for the animated shorts that I never got made, I will say this as well. I'm so glad they never got completed, because otherwise I wouldn't have quickly realized, oh wait a minute, I can complete my projects, but I just need the proper motivation, because I would just keep animating and animating and animating and animating until nothing gets done. Absolutely nothing. It's still there, it's still unfinished, and I have a bunch of like white drawers here filled to the brim with like animation drawings and all that. These drawers, they are stacked with animation drawings. And let me tell you, they better stay that way. So weird, I know. But the point is, even though those projects never got completed, I am so thankful they never did. Because I wouldn't have been able to make Fernando Fox the way it is. And, you know, I can say, like, oh, I gotta move on from that and do other projects. But that's the key thing. Williams had his one pet project in mind. He did all those other projects just so he could get the money. And you could say, like, why wouldn't he have just given up on it? Especially when the film got taken from him and ruined. Well, at that point, you're basically telling yourself, that's his life. That was his blood. Like, he spent his whole life, well, not his whole life, but a large portion of his life trying to make that film. It never got finished the way he wanted it, but you really got to admire it, just the amount of detail and just all the effort that went into it and just how much he cared for it. And that's why I admire Richard Williams so much. Even when times were hardest, even when his family life wasn't in the best shape, even when money was the biggest disappointment, he never gave up. There's a documentary on him called The Thief Who Never Gave Up, which was also one of the original titles for The Thief and the Cobbler, funny enough, but that's what I think of him as. The quintessential artist who never gave up. He never gave up on his passion, and that's really admirable. Me personally, like some artwork I do, I just give up on it. But most of my art now, I finish it. I finish it whenever I can, whenever I have the time, all that jazz. And that's what I took away from Richard Williams. And so it's really heartbreaking to know that he's gone. And even if you're going to say his time was coming, I bet even you yourself know that it was just too soon. We lost a legend. And never mind me, he influenced a fuck ton of people. You know, The Thief and the Cobbler was actually a big inspiration for The Secret of Kells, that wonderful, underrated Irish animated film that should have won Best Picture, but lost to Up. Okay, maybe Coraline instead. But the point is, it actually became a massive influence. And keep this in mind. A large part as to why the Disney Renaissance animated features were so good, at least mainly in terms of the visual quality in addition to the stories, was because some of those artists were trained, if not trained, then at the very least they worked for Richard Williams and they took their influence from him as well. Andreas Deja, Eric Goldberg, even Williams' own son, Alex Williams, became a well-respected animator within his own right. And even James Baxter, I think. So, there you go. James Baxter, I love your stuff, dude. You animate horses better than anyone else. I probably shouldn't be smiling, but to be honest, if I wasn't, then I would just be crying, because I loved him. I respected Richard Williams. Not a lot of people do respect others, but I genuinely respect him. Because he never gave up on his passion. And if he did, a long time ago, he probably would not have made this wonderful Bible of an animation book. And it's not the only animation book you should get. You should also get The Illusion of Life, Tom Bancroft's book, any book by Andreas Deja. But if you don't have this, and you want to learn animation, get it as soon as you can. I definitely recommend it. It's the quintessential learning tool on how to animate. All from a master who brought us a hysterical rabbit who just could not resist shave and haircut 2 bits. Awkward delivery, but you get the idea. I should probably also mention that Roger Rabbit was my favorite movie as a kid as well. Well, maybe it wasn't my favorite movie as a kid, but it's my favorite movie now, and I never realized just how much it meant to me. I love cartoons, I love animation, I love just anything having to do with it. And so, just knowing that the guy who influenced me that much is gone, yeah, it is heartbreaking. Even if I didn't know, like, let's say that I had never watched Roger Rabbit until now. Let's say I was not a fan of animation either way. I would still be upset about this. Because as someone who loves the art, just any form of art in general, it's just so sad that like one of the last legends we have now is just gone. But his legacy will live on. If you love Roger Rabbit that much, if you love Richard Williams' content, if you love animation in general, then remember how much Richard Williams meant to you. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Bottom line, if you haven't seen it already, check out Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But also check out plenty of Richard Williams' stuff on the Thief Archive YouTube channel. Link in the description below. So, yeah. All I gotta say is, Richard Williams, thank you. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, I don't know where I'd be today. I have so much more to learn. but I'm very glad that you were basically a learning tool. Well, not just a learning tool, but an amazing guide so I can make my work the best it can be. I look forward to what I make in the future. And I have you to thank for my confidence. So yeah, rest in peace, and until next time, take care, folks.
When I saw Snow White, my mind opened, and it has never shut since, because it just looked, the whole idea of a separate world, which wasn't as boring as North Toronto. Okay, I just thought, get me out of here. Where's the exit? And anyway, I found the exit actually, and it was really into this stuff.